Hey everybody, I'm Jesse Showalter, and in this episode I'm going to be doing a hands-on review of a free graphic design software that's a vector-based design software. It is cross-platform. You can also use it in the browser, and it's called Vectr. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the computer today, and we're going to see what Vectr is all about and what it can do. So you can see on my screen, I'm at vectr.com, and you can use it online. You can download. If we go to use online, it's going to take us directly to a canvas to just start whipping stuff up. You can create an account if you want to. You can skip the tutorial and do all this stuff. Or so you can play with it here. You can download it here. You could download it in the Mac App Store. Seems like it's exactly what it says. It's like, platform compliant or cross-platform compliant. So you can get it anywhere. And once you've installed it and you open it up, and so you can see I'm immediately presented with just a blank canvas, like get right to creating. I don't have anything against that. There's no like pop-up screen or welcome screen. I don't have anything against that though. Let's see, we're just gonna work around the interface quickly, and then we're gonna just check out some of the tools it has to offer and some of the settings, and then we'll try to make a little something. So, okay, let's see. Let's first start up here. We have no kind of settings there. Have some basic editing commands. Okay, we can just kind of close, minimize. So basic stuff, really light amount of settings up in the kind of settings bar. Down on the bottom left-hand side, you have dimensions. I'm guessing this is for when I create, a shape of some sort or an object. I can kind of mess with the settings of it like that. So that's nice. You have a little dimensions kind of information panel thing. You have a pages panel. So this is currently I'm on page 1 of 1, but I could create another page. I can set the size of my page. So if I wanted to do like, like the size of like an iPhone or something, I can set those sizes. Wow, that is not, you have to unlink them. Interesting. Okay, so you can do like, different canvas sizes, and I think it's interesting to note that when you draw shapes and do stuff, it's not going to be full color or really like active until it's on the canvas. So I guess really what we're talking about is pages equal, the one page, the one screen. There's no like artboard system going on here like you might be used to in other stuff. You can see you have all sorts of interesting sizes, so that's really nice. So we can do like, turn this into an iPhone 6, and bam, we have perfect iPhone 6 size, okay? And you can start playing with stuff like that. So that's okay, each page represents a screen. I don't think that's necessarily the best if you're doing like a lot of screens or a lot of designs. That might not be as great, but okay, so far so good. So you have pages, you have layers, which is exactly what it sounds like it should be. It's just gonna tell you, the different layers. So like currently I have a rectangle, it's telling me it's a rectangle path, but I can just rename it if I want to by double clicking on it. You can lock and hide like any standard program. You can duplicate things, and there it is. It's duplicated with the same name that I've given it, so that's nice. Let me see. I have an arrow, which I have no idea what that just did. Okay, so here's kind of like my start screen. So maybe because I had played with it, it bypassed this start screen and went right to a file. Okay, and once I'm logged in, I have my welcome screen where I can create a new file. I can search for files. They're all going to be stored here. I'm guessing if you log in the browser, all your files are going to be saved in the browser as well, so that's kind of nice. So let's just open that file. I don't know if this is the same file I was working on. Aha, so it is. I'm going to delete one of these pages because I don't need 2 pages right now. We're just going to work with our iPhone page. Can we name the... you can duplicate. That's nice. Okay, you can duplicate pages. Keep that in mind. But we cannot name pages. And I'm guessing if we go out here, could we name it here? We can. We can say app design or something. Okay, so now that's saved as app design. It tells me when it was created and when it was last edited, and I can duplicate it and delete it from here. So, okay. So that's pages, and that's logging in and out and going back to your kind of home screen, start screen. Then you have the layers panel like we talked about, where we have a similar dimensions thing going on down the side. You can unlink things and change the Y and the X position. You can rotate things, so that's really standard. And then you have the whole slew of tools, although it doesn't look like a lot of tools. Vectr, I'm guessing, is really focused on vector-based design and not so much on like photo manipulation or stuff like Photoshop, obviously. So let's see what they have. They have the basic, square or rectangle tool, which I've already done. They have a rounded rectangle, which is always good to try because you want to figure out how you round those corners. Is it in this inset shadow? No, that's not it. The border size, no. Interesting. Okay, how do we round the corners more? That is a question for the ages. There's no zoom tool, so if I press Z or anything like that, there's just Command Z, or Command minus and Command plus to zoom in and out, or there's the plus and the minus zoom key down there at the bottom right hand side of the screen. I don't see a way to round my corners. I'm right clicking on stuff, I'm clicking on the edges of the corner, let's see, I have the shadow and this inset shadow, so I'm gonna take all that stuff off. My border is off. It's a color. Okay, I don't see any way to change the, wow, oh golly, what did I just do? I made a new file and I left the original file I was working on. I don't see any way to round the corners any more than they are, so that's kind of a shame. So you have like this standard like rounded corner shape, or you have a standard corner shape. If I no, there's just nothing like that, huh? Okay, that's it. That's it. We have an ellipse tool. Let's drag one of those out. I'm holding shift to keep it constrained or letting go to make it look wonky. But now I have an ellipse, pretty standard. Okay, so we have some standard shapes. Now I think it's fair to look at some of the shape building tools. So if I select two shapes, you're gonna see directly over the top of it, I get this little kind of like pop-up menu that happens, and it's my basic kind of Pathfinder tools. So I can just converge them together, subtract, I can do all the good stuff right here, pass through. This is actually positioning tools, which is interesting, and arrangement tools. So I can take these two and send them to the back or bring them to the front. You can do that obviously by going here, like I can take my box and move it to the front, pretty standard stuff. But you have all your Pathfinder tool stuff right above, and there's a live preview of what it's going to look like, so that's kind of interesting. So those are shapes. Okay, let's get rid of these shapes and see what else we have. We have a pen tool. Looks like a pretty standard pen tool where I can grab and drag, and it's interesting the controls they have for the pen tool. I can, if I just drag with one hand, I'm getting the ability to kind of Bezier, curve things. But the only other control I really have, you can see it's kind of smart guiding it as well. So this is kind of cool that it's doing some of the work for you, right? Kind of cool. But, okay, yep. But, let's see, the only other option you have when you drag is either you're dragging, clicking straight, you're dragging and you're holding and you're bending to make a curve, or you're dragging and you're holding down Command and you're getting one side of the handle. So that's kind of interesting, like this or what? Oh my goodness, I just grabbed the second side. That's really weird. I want to delete this whole thing. And when you delete, interestingly enough, on the pen tool, it just deletes one point at a time, so that's kind of nice. But let's go back to that pen tool because I want to see this. If I grab and just drag, I'm going to get two handles. If I click again and hold Command, I'm going to get one handle. What handle is it? I don't know. I can let go and then Command drag again and get a second handle. What on earth are you doing for me with that? Okay, so that's interesting. I can connect it and now I have a shape that I can then fill and play with all my settings over here. So, okay, that's interesting to know. The pen tool, Maybe not as effective if you're used to a more complex pen tool, like something in Illustrator, or maybe even like Affinity Designer has a decent pen tool. So maybe not what you're used to, but good if you are starting out, I would think. So I'm gonna get rid of this awkward amoeba shape that I have. We have a pencil, which, okay, I mean, I don't really ever use it. Who uses the pencil? That's what I wanna know. Do you use the pencil? If you do, let me know. I wanna know what kind of opportunities you have to use the pencil in a vector drawing tool. Just talk to me, rap with me about that in the comments. Okay, have a text tool. Let's see what the text is like. All you can do is text boxes. So this is some text, okay? And when I click on it, I have a whole array of text tools. Not very many by any means, but you have some there, okay? So let's click back on it. You have some different fonts that I'm assuming are all the different fonts that you've uploaded into your computer. So I don't think you can like necessarily control or manipulate or update fonts inside the program itself, but you have all the basic stuff like line height, letter spacing, oh that's interesting, and justification. Okay, so that's actually it. That's all they give you. So not the best text tools, but maybe enough to get you started. Okay. Next in the tools panel, we have the upload images. So I'm just gonna go to my downloads and see if I have an image. I do. So I'm just gonna upload this image, and I'm going to just resize it by holding shift so I keep the constraints. I can rotate it by grabbing that little rotating handle up on the top side. You get some weird blinking stuff whenever you let go of an image. That's kind of odd. So, okay. Interesting. So, images. Okay, can you just drag an image in? Can I just take this and drag this and drop it? Yes, you can, so that's nice. Okay, but there's a lot of flashing and blinking of images as you're like, even if you just move it around, the stinking thing flashes. That's weird, okay? So, images. And then we have some more shapes. We have like just some standard kind of vector shapes like stars and arrows and stuff like that. And then you have a couple, I don't know, what is that, a martini glass? Is this a bomb? Why do we need the bomb? That's a bomb. So, hey, you know what? I'd also like you to chime in if you've ever needed a vector bomb for a project. Chime in. Sarcasm aside. So there's your tool list. Let's click on our image, and you saw we had in our information panel, we had kind of some of the basic stuff. You have the background where you can add multiple backgrounds, so that's nice. I can do, oh boy, I could do a color on top of it, and I don't know if I can mask or anything, but I can work a little opacity magic there. But there's no like masking of color, like blending modes like multiply and screen and overlay. There's none of that kind of stuff. You can do gradients, linear or radial gradients on top, and I'm guessing you could also do a similar thing. You can't blend, but you could just do opacity down. Okay. I'm gonna right click on it. Nope, there's no way to do that, so that's okay, fine. You can add borders and shadows and inset shadow, and you can play with opacity. That's kind of it when it comes to shapes and images in the inspector panel or the information panel. And then when it came to text, you had the same things plus a few extra text tools. That's really it, text controls. So that is it. We've gone around almost the entire interface except for these little options up here, which if I click, I think these are different snapping options. Like I can turn on snapping, or I can turn on the grid. Okay, and I'm gonna move this image off to the side and just work with the shape, okay? Wow, it's really laggy right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this in and I'm gonna zoom a little bit so we can see. It is gonna just snap things to a grid that it's imposed, which is kind of nice. I can get down with that, like, okay. And then there's none. So you have, no snapping if you want to be like really precise about making icons or something like that. Okay, then you have, what is this? You have the file name itself that you can change and what measurement, unit of measurement the file is in. Then you have export options, which this just looks weird. I don't know what to do with this. Like, okay, so I can export just the selection, okay, as what type of file type, and there's a URL for it if I wanted to share, or I can just download it. I don't know why I'd want to tweet my assets. That's weird. It's saved out on my desktop as an SVG, so you can save your assets right there. And then you have the opportunity to start a new file, and you have some help, like some lessons, tutorials, user guide, keyboard shortcuts. Let's just click on the lessons and see. Getting started, filters, images. Okay, so they're trying to help you like learn, and they've gamified it a little bit so you can kind of go through all the way to completion and feel good. That's nice. And then tutorials, it literally inside of the app, it redirects you just using like a browser basically, and it takes you to their website where there's a bunch of different tutorials on how to make different things. And then how do we get back? How do we get back? Boy, I don't know. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to close it and reopen it. That was weird to me. Okay, so that's the hands-on review. Let's try to make something with it real quick, and we'll get back to you and I'll tell you my final thoughts. Well, that's it. That's my review of... Okay, so that's my hands-on. I've had time to check it out and play with it, and now it's time for my final thoughts. No, this is not good. This piece of software seems promising because it's available, right? It's free. It seems like you can do good stuff with it. Like, seems like, you know, it's highly rated. It's kind of like well rated in the App Store as well. And I just feel bad because somebody who's just starting out in design would come around and see this and say, maybe I should use that. And my fear is that they would judge themselves for what this program is lacking, because in my opinion, this program is lacking. Let me just talk about some of my issues with it. I don't mind that it's browser-based and cross-platform, and it's that whole kind of like use it up in the cloud kind of thing. Figma's like that, Gravit Designer's like that. This one's like that, but it's not as good. It crashes, it's super laggy. It doesn't handle images well, and I know this is Vectr, right? It's like vector-based stuff, but it's a design software. You should at least be able to bring a bitmap image into it and place it without things flashing and blinking all over the place. That's, okay, so that's that. Number two, some of the basic controls that you would really hope for in a design program are not here. Like, you can't click on a shape and then like alt drag that shape to duplicate it. You can't do that. You just have to copy and paste it. That's a little bit frustrating. You also can't just Command G like group things. Like, hey, I put like some text and a shape together. I wanted to make a button. I just grab both of them, Command G, group them. Nope, not there. Also, it's hard to select things. Like, you'll select things sometimes, and what happens if they're in a group is good luck selecting things. You just don't know what to select, right? You can click on things. Do you double click to drill down into the group? There's just no logic to it. It just seems real kind of hacky. I don't know. I don't have a problem. I was actually kind of excited about you know, obviously what I thought opening up the program, this is going to be like a vector drawing tool for beginners, and that's good because they should have something that's not as expensive as Adobe Illustrator, and it's way more accessible because it's free. It's a simple, cool, good version. That's what I was really hoping for. And so I wasn't offended by the lack of tools, quote unquote, in the tool panel. I was like, basic shapes, basic pen tool, basic text. This is a great learning platform for sure. But after playing with it, I'm not even convinced that it's that, because I hate to leave a negative review. I hate to do that, but I just don't think this is worth somebody's time. I think this is going to be more of a discouragement, and it's going to be more pain and problem than it's actually going to do any good. Let's see, what else don't I really like about it? I just felt like overall, like, it just had a bad, also like user experience. It had a bad flow because my experience using this app is one of frustration and figuring out why things are the way they are. Like, why am I in a file right now and there's a button that I can click that does not have clear iconography, that as soon as I click it, it leads me out and shoots me to a new file? What? Give me one flow back to some sort of home screen or home page to make a new file, or at least put the thing up in the menu so I can just go file new like every other software in the world for a vector editing tool, and I can't control the curve of a rounded square at this point. Like, come on. Like, there's no setting that I can do that. There's no like node there that I can pull in and out. There's got to be something, right? It's like I can't use the one default curved square, like rounded edge square. Like, come on, give me something else. The pen tool is weird and wonky. I mean, I feel like the pen tool is actually the strongest point of this software. Like, it's easy. It has some helper to it. Like, you know, it has almost like a smart Bezier, so like it's helping you out as you go. But then it's weird because it's not always helping you out as you go. Like, it'll help you out on your next point, but not the point after that. So that's really, really weird. Don't even get me started on the export settings. That whole interface just seemed like an afterthought. Here's my opinion, all in all. My opinion of Vectr is that you shouldn't waste your time on it. It's free, and that sounds appealing, but don't waste your time on it. This is not a good piece of software for an experienced or professional designer by any means. This is also not even a good software for somebody just starting out. I'm actually mentoring a guy right now, and I'm looking for resources and things to offer him as somebody who's starting out, doesn't have a lot of money, and doesn't have any experience in graphic design. And this is not something that I would have him download and try, because it's just not going to do him any good. It's actually going to frustrate him and most likely not want to try anymore. So I don't think this is for experienced people. I don't think this is for new people. I think this has a lot of work before it becomes something that is considered. Yeah, obviously, like, I made something. I tried to remake the Vectr website, and it was so hard. Final thought, don't waste your time with it. It's really wonky. Again, I hate to leave a negative review, but I feel like sometimes that's important because I really care about you guys, and I want to help you, and I want to kind of lead you away from the bad things and into the good things. I really want those of you, especially those of you that are starting out in design, to not be discouraged, to have the best situation, the best circumstances for you to learn in. And so this is me defending you as my friends. Stay away from this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you really like Vectr, please in the comments tell me what I'm missing about it. If you are looking for some sort of design software, please go ahead and leave in the comments. I'll try to answer you back and help guide you to the right place for what it is that you're looking for. If you did enjoy the video, think about leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. I like to do a lot of videos about creativity and design and development, as well as reviews about software and other creative things, just like this one. So I hope you'll stick around for the next one. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. I hope you're making amazing things. I hope you're creating amazing things. I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.